I have been watching videos about restoring salvage cars for a while and decided to give it a try with bikes. So I have bought the cheapest crashed KTM 1290 Super Adventure S 2021 maybe in whole Europe. And was it a mistake? I have made a decision a few days ago. After searching the internet, I have found the one and only rear-ended KTM. I know this bike since I owned both previous generations, so I have called the seller, offered 10k and we had a deal. From the video he sent me, I assumed that there are not so many damaged parts to replace. First one, obvious, was the rear wheel. I have also noticed that the spring in the rear shock is not straight, so I hope just that the mounting points are intact. Next was the exhaust with the manifold, the foot peg clamp and the windshield, not a big deal. New parts are crazy expensive, so not a surprise that someone just gave up and sold it. But you don't have to buy new things, don't you? After searching on eBay, I have found the one and only rear shock from that bike for £350. It was the only one listing on the entire internet, so I have offered 300 to the seller and we had a deal. So I have decided to buy the bike since it was the most complicated part to repair or replace. After driving for 4 hours, I saw the bike and it was perfect. 4 more hours and 10,000 euros later and it's in my garage, so let's have a look, shall we? Okay, the bike is great looking. The rear wheel is destroyed, like totally destroyed. Rear shock also unrepairable since the middle chrome rod was the stone of the upper part. I have decided to dismantle damaged parts just to relieve some pressure they are making on the rest of the bike. The first was to dismantle the exhaust holder. To my surprise, it looked good after taking away. Nothing damaged, just some cosmetics. Bolts were gone, but they just took the whole power of the crash and gave up. Exhaust is bent, but the crash did not destroy the catalytic filter which is inside the exhaust, so we'll get to that later. The next step was to remove the rear shock. If it is repairable, it's not good by any chance to let it rest on that torn off rod. There are 2 bolts holding the shock, and kudos to KTM for making adjustments on the frame, so you don't have to dismantle half of the bike to get them like in the previous generations. One tip: never try to loosen up socket head bolts with the impact wrench. It can easily strip the thread in the head and you'll be stuck with the rest that is really tight and hard to remove without using like some brute force. I have started with torque wrench and finished them with impact wrench. After removing the bolts and unplugging the electronics, I have unplugged the fluid line since the fluid was already gone. I don't advise you to do so when the shock is sealed, it will spill out. With the way cleared, I could try to get the shock out. I have tried different methods and some did not work very well. To clear this out, the shock is really tight on the place. I have inserted simple rope that I found in the garage and pulled it the opposite direction that it is mounted. It went straight out. On the top, you can just use some rod to tap it slightly and it will fall out easily. Okay, the next step is to fix the shock so I can move the bike around without damaging more parts. To do so, I wanted to reuse my old shock I have bought from crashed 2nd gen because of the faulty suspension motor. I have dismantled both shocks and tried to fit the bottom part of the new shock to the old one. And guess what? It did not fit. The diameter of the rod is 1 mm thicker on the new generation, so I have just removed the suspension motor, refitted the piston rod so I can put the spring in without any problems and then got it back on the bike. Now I can move my bike freely without damaging any more parts. And that's it for the first part. It would be amazing if you subscribe and don't miss the next one. Shock and wheel are on the way, so I'll get you updated soon with my progress. Until then, ride safe, and if you have some tips, just let me know in the comments. Peace.